All right, so today we're doing comment tu trouves, which is what do you think of someone or something. Okay, so lisons écrivons. Let's read and write. Regarde l'image. Let's look at the picture et complète la conversation and complete the conversation entre Laure et Karine, between Laure and Karine, d'une façon logique, in a logical fashion or way. Okay, so let's look at the picture. We have François, Hubert, et Pauline. So, comment tu trouves means how do you find, literally, which in English we sometimes say that. How do you find the French class to be? We don't usually say it, but we do sometimes. And then it translates as what do you think of? So if I say comment tu trouves François? Well, let's look at him. He's looking. Let's look at some of your adjectives and see which ones you want to use with him. Does he look like he is being silly or like he's serious about the class? Right, we would say il est sérieux. He's very serious, okay? So also maybe he looks a little shy, so we might say il est timide. So whatever it is, and actually down here we're going to fill these in, but up here we're just practicing first. Then we have Hubert. He's throwing something, landed right on Francois's head. So probably we're going to say he's annoying or tiresome, difficult. Now it says tiresome and difficult for pénible, but I will tell you when I lived in France, pénible, I went to high school there as a junior, and that was the word they also use for annoying, especially amongst teenagers, and a little bit more, I guess, in the slang type. So he's probably all of those things. Hubert est pénible. We might even say that he is not nice or that he is mean. So how would we say that? Il n'est pas sympathique or sympa, or maybe we would say il est méchant, that he is mean. All right, and then the teacher, what is she like? How about thin and tall? How would we say that? If I say comment tu trouves la prof, you would say elle est, or je la trouve, for I find her to be. Or you can also say elle est, for she is, and then whatever it is. You might say grande et mince. Don't forget, instead of grand, not pronouncing that last consonant now, you will, because you add an e to it to make it feminine. So grande et mince. And mince already has an e on it. So if it already ends with an e, you don't have to add another e to make it feminine. All right, so now let's look at the conversation, la conversation. Comment tu trouves Pauline? What do you think of Pauline? Je la trouve. I find her to be, or I think of her as, where is Karine? I don't even see Karine. Do you? I'm going to guess this is Karine right here. She's just talking. Okay. She's going to say, I find her to be, and then whatever it is you think for the teach, pour la prof, what would you say? Intelligente would be a good one. She is intelligent. Et sympathique might be another one. Je la trouve intelligente et sympathique. Don't forget that you are going to, in this case, you're going to add an e to intelligent to make it feminine, since you're talking about Pauline, who looks like the teacher in this case. So then they say, et qu'est-ce que tu penses de François? And what is it that you think about François? Or what do you think of François? Et qu'est-ce que tu penses de François? Where is he? He's right here. Carine's talking and she says, François. Well, again, this is your opinion, but we'll say il est sérieux. He's serious. Il est intelligent. He looks smart to me. But he is what? But maybe we'll say he's a little shy. Mais il est timide, but he's shy. And then et Hubert, and what about Hubert? À mon avis, in my opinion, il est, what do you guys think? Well, how about annoying or tiresome and difficult? We'll say il est pénible. And then she says, and I find him to be, et je le trouve méchant aussi. I find him also to be mean. So check the work that you did and see if this is what you come up with. Also practice pronouncing these sentences. All right, so now let's look. À mon avis, écrivons, let's write. An online teen magazine from Montreal is conducting an opinion survey. Answer the questions below. Comment tu trouves le professeur de français? What do you think about the French teacher? So this is your opinion. So you want to start out with à mon avis, in my opinion, and you were supposed to write these out. So you might say, in my opinion, I find him to be, or I think he is. À mon avis, je le trouve. And so let me, so that I can write on this, not a lot of room to write on it, but I'm going to do it anyways. I have to take a picture of it, and now we can write on it. If we need to move the stuff out of the way, we will. All right, so let me do the markup right here and there. Okay, so we want to say comment tu trouves le professeur de français? We might say à mon avis. So that's just, you don't have to say both. You could, I'm not great at, let's see, getting these accents to show up when you capitalize, but that should be capitalized. À mon avis, in my opinion, il est, he is, and then whatever it is you think of him. So what if we want to say, in my opinion, he is nice and creative? How would you say that? À mon avis, il est sympa. You can shorten it to sympa. Et créatif, because he's a guy. You don't have to make it feminine. À mon avis, il est sympa et créatif. Let me see if I can get this to come up with an accent as a capital letter, and I did. All right, good. So now let's look at the next one. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de Homer Simpson? Okay, Homer Simpson. What do you think of him? Do you guys remember the cartoon? He was on there. Actually, I've never really watched it, but I know what he looks like. So let's try that. How would we say I find him to be, or I think he is? You're going to say je le trouve. I find him to be, or I think he is. And then you will say whatever it is you think about him. Let's talk about how he looks. He's kind of short, so we'd say je le trouve. What would it be? Is the word for short in here? Je le trouve petit. Et yeah, it is in there. What else would you say about him? I don't know much about him. Let's say that he is, he has a big head. Il a. Now this was a chance to practice this. Une tête. Remember we learned the word for a head? And we want to say the head is big. So grand is masculine, and so is Bart. But the head itself is la tête, and that's feminine. So we have to make grand match it. So here's something else we want to do. We want to remember that this is one of those bangs adjectives that goes in front. Beauty, age, goodness, and size, and number, they all go in front. So il a une grande tête. He has a big head. There you go. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. Il est comment ton acteur préféré? What's he like? Your favorite actor? I don't even, let's see. Let's say that our favorite actor is going to be how about Tom Cruise? Okay, so Tom Cruise looks like he's strong and he's very active. So let's do that one. So how would you say, in my opinion, he is strong and active? What's the word for in my opinion? Let's say à mon avis, il est fort. He is strong. Et actif. There you go. That's all I have to say. All right, so now let's do the last one. Now that we've got those out of the way, let's go ahead and do the last one. And we're talking about comment est le président des États-Unis. What does that one mean? A lot of cognates here. What is or how is the president of the United States? We know when you use the word how is with someone that what they mean is what are they like. You say that even in English sometimes. If I said, how was your French class? And you say, oh, it's really hard. Well, so that's an example of using how is. And they gave you a loose translation in the book, but literally it's how is the president of the United States. We translate that as what is the president of the United States like? All right, so a lot of people have a lot of different opinions of the president. I think we can all agree that he is old. And what else could we say about him? Tall, that he is old and tall. All right, so let's talk about le président des États-Unis. And I lost it, it's right here. Okay, so we want to say, you can say il est if you wanted. You can say à mon avis, and you can say je le trouve, whichever you prefer to start out with. How about il est, he is. Il est. And we're going to say tall, which is il est grand. And how do you say, what was the other thing we were going to say about him? That he is tall and blonde. Let's do that. And he is blonde. Il est grand et blond. There you go. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to shut this off.